Welcome to the last process video in the class. In this one I will be putting together my final page for day 31. I'm working with a printable collection. This is Jack and Skelly from Tracy Reed Designs, and I already had this as my foundation page printed and punched, but then because of a slight adjustment of stories in my album where I actually told two stories on one page, I had to adjust things slightly, and so this paper, which I really do want to pair with these two photos, is now punched on the wrong side. It's a printable collection, so I could easily just reprint it, but I don't like to do that if I don't have to. So what I'm going to do instead is bring in this Traveller's Notebook signature from the collection as well, and then create, I could either adhere this just simply onto the top of the border and trim it down and we're done, or I think what I might do is actually create a flip out so that the photos are on this bit and the number, and then flipping that out to have all of my journaling underneath. So that is my intention at this point. Once I've completed this, you'll then see me bring in the full album, and I will be going through and adding in those tiny touches that I've talked about before, so enamel dots and some ribbons onto tags, that kind of thing, so that final embellishment. At the moment I don't have a cover, so I still need to create my cover as well, so you may see that in this video. I'm not sure yet. We're going to see how time goes, and if not, you'll certainly see it in the photos in the classroom. So I'm going to get this put together on a slightly sped up speed with a voiceover, and then when I'm doing the embellishments, I may do voiceover, or I may even just put a little bit of music on for you, because there's only so much I can say about what I'm doing with enamel dots, I guess. So I'll start with voiceover and then we'll see how we go. Okay, so yeah, let's do this one together. So I have the pretty much completed book here now, minus the ribbons that I need to add onto some tags and any additional puffy stickers, or I have white and black Nuvo drops which I can add in. These take overnight to dry, so I'm going to add these last of all and make sure I take the pages out that I add them to, so that there's no risk of anything squishing or running. Yeah, so what I am going to do now is I've pulled in a selection from my stash of partial puffy stickers and enamel dots. I'll just show you what I've got here. I've got some Ali Edwards. That's also Ali Edwards. I've pulled in basically anything with black on it, black, grey or white as my kind of neutrals. I've also brought in anything that was autumnal because I have got some of those autumnal pages, and so I brought in this. This happens to have a couple of orange on there as well, so hopefully I'll get those done. Black here, this is an old one that's just stuck. This is actually a Halloween selection, so I may be able to use some of these. As you'll notice, I bought this last year, I only used some of the black and the holographic ones. Brought this in because of the black, brought this in because of the autumnal, but also there is black and orange on there. That was a mistake, I'll put that one back. Then from Ella Studio I have quite a lot of these. I bought these in because I very rarely use the round puffy stickers, but I'm going to try to get quite a few of those used up instead of enamel dots. So I have the black, white and grey there. Black, white and grey here. I bought this in because there was some orange. Same here with the orange and a few black. And I put this in just because I've got some white ones there, and I thought some of those might look nice if I have a particularly black page. So I think really it's just a case of me going through. I did on this one, I put some crackle accents. This wasn't one that I created as a process video with you, but I put some crackle accents on. It worked really nicely on the, you might not be able to see it, really nicely on the little bats, but less so on the skulls, because this was a printable paper. It pulled up the I should have thought about it, it pulled up the black for the little eye sockets. So I may leave that like that, or I may bring in some enamel dots and see if I can cover them up. I'm not sure yet. So yeah, that's the puffy stickers, and then I'm going to get some fibres. I might get that now actually, get some ribbons in as well so that they're on the page too, sorry, the desk too, and then as I go through I can just add to each page, so pretty much they're done. And then as I've mentioned earlier, I just need to do a cover. The back page I'm just going to use a piece of cardstock stuck down, and I think, I've got some foam board, but I think that's nearly 1/4 of an inch, and I think it'll be too thick. I don't really want to go into the bigger rings that I've got because they're quite significantly bigger and it doesn't need that. So I may just go with cardstock on the front and the back and a decorated cover. Yeah, so let's get this one finished, and then the final video in the classroom will be a little flip through, so you get to see every page. Okay, I've decided to do a voiceover and cut out some of the embellishment in order to show my cover at the end. So here I am. I've decided to leave number 1 with the slightly blurry skull motifs. And first of all, I'm going through because I know I've got quite a lot of tags on the pages of these first few pages, so I want to add some fibres in and make sure that these ribbons are my sheerest ribbons so that they don't add too much bulk right at the very start. This is one reason why I brought in quite a few whites as well as black, because they're good on a Halloweeny page with white, black and orange. And I'm pulling in as well those autumnal puffy stickers that I showed you from an Ali Edwards kit, and the mustard and orange, the kind of muted oranges, are going really, really nicely on this page. And I'm really glad that I used this collection quite early on because it kind of sets the tone. I've got the first 2 pages, so the first double page spread, if you like, is quite Halloweeny in colour tone and theme, and then the second one, so days 3 and 4, Nothing really Halloweeny there. There's a couple of pumpkins, but they're not Halloween pumpkins. They're just fall pumpkins, and I'm really happy that I did that because it means that it's more cohesive throughout the album, and that those autumnal colours start to show up. So you'll see here I've moved straight through to number 19. All I've been doing, you can tell from the left hand side, is going through adding ribbons to my tags and enamel dots and puffy stickers to every page. I'm really pleased with the way it's looking. When I created the pages, I had no intention as to where any puffy stickers would go, but this is such a part of my style to add enamel dots or some really small embellishments at the very, very end, that it works really nicely for me to just stand there with my audiobook on and just add these additional little embellishments that just finish everything off. I'm so happy with the way these are just elevating it a little bit more, adding that additional texture, not too much bulk, and bringing things together. Creating this project retrospectively in this way has been a real eye-opener for me because it has really freed me up to try to use some of my stash. So I've got it all there on the desk, all those enamel dots and those puffy stickers that I've had for a very long time that I've kind of hoarded really because they're special, or, you know, I've only got 3 of that design left. And for some reason, there's been a mindset change with this album and I'm not feeling that. So I am just going all in. I'm using up the, because I'm just going with colour really. So you can see those couple of black stars there. They're on a borrowed time. They're going to go onto a page and I've kept them for a very long time. But really, what is the point of them being in my stash? They would be much better on a page, and where better than in a catch-up October daily album. And actually the greys you'll see work really nicely, so I was glad that I brought in grey as one of my neutrals. And it's just a simple formula of turning the page and going through and adding something in. And what I'm finding is there's often a little gap area just like there, where I can add in a puffy sticker, and then all of a sudden, rather than 2 parts to a page as I'd intended it in the first place, it just becomes one cohesive column or that kind of thing. And this is just finishing everything off for me really, really nicely. There are some pages, for example, number 26 there, where I'm not going to add anything in because I'm just really happy with the simple page design. I don't have anything that would complement it or add to it any more than is already there. And so I'll just leave them. Here's that little extra of me creating my cover. It is normal weight cardstock, so nothing too thick. It means that it's not going to be exceptionally protected, but I don't store my October daily albums out on the shelf all the time. They come out for October and then they go away again. So I'm quite happy with this thinner weight. I've punched the holes along one side, but I have actually made the cover a little bit larger. I think it's just over 8.25 high, but I've made it, I think it's 4.75 wide because there's quite a lot of extra hanging over at the side, and it gives all of the pages that cover. And what I'm doing here is I'm going through some Traveller's Notebook signatures that I've already got printed, looking for the ones with the sentiments on, and then I'm just pulling out 2 that are quite cute and fit in with the sentiment for either the end of the story or starting the whole process. And then I'm going to adhere those down to the unused side, the back side if you like, of day 31 and day 1. I could have stuck those to my covers, the inside of my cover, and given the page a black border, but I decided this gave it a little bit of additional bulk and a little bit of a stronger feel to that page 1. It meant that if the cover gets all crushed, my story isn't going to be affected. And now I just need to decorate it. So I'm using the flat October letter tiles from the Halloween stickers there. I've also brought in some stickers. I had to look through a lot of stickers before I could find enough 2s to create the title. But it worked really nicely that they were in this green, which matched the green from those Halloween stickers. And I put this cute little frog up at the top just to bring in more of that green. And that is now complete and looking very simple, but really cute, really chunky, and ready for me to share a flip through with you.